Also, I didn't think we didn't.
We didn't clap. I mean, hello, YouTube. If you're joining us now, we've actually been discussing the episode for the last 20 minutes, but both Jeremy and I realised that neither of us are recording.
No. There's some deleted footage of YouTube somewhere of us going utter twat.
Yeah. So I was just chatting away, and I looked over to see how long I'd been talking. Look, nothing's happening over there.
The fact that we both didn't do it as well.
Amazing. Anyway. We're back.
Yes.
So what you've missed, just to recap to the 4 people that actually watch this. Hello, I love you. We spoke about tofu. I got shouted at by my wife.
Which you won't hear now.
Yeah, which you won't hear now. That's gone. That's finished, isn't there anymore?
We talk about beer and sweets.
And did. And yeah.
And how we're really professional at the moment. How we've actually doing a lot better than
I even started the first video is welcome to the hotbed of professionalism that is us doing. And then forgot to click record. Although I swear no, we couldn't have done it because we didn't clap.
No. Can we clap now?
Hang on, I'm going to start recording the audio now.
I'm already a minute and a half in. I'm not going to take any chances.
Right, 1, 2, 3. Yay, I'm recording now. All right, you count us in. Remember, it's always going to sound out at your end.
Yeah, but I'm the one editing.
Well, I can't help you.
3. Okay, on the one end.
On the what? Well, 3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Right.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go. Is that in on you?
It was slightly out, but it'll do. You'll figure it out. You're a professional.
I can use my ear. That's a thing I can do.
Right, I've got to go through all that again.
Also, Henry does look a bit like a thumb, and I do look like a 70s something.
Look, I have a chin. Look, I have several chins. No, Dada, Wacky.
It's November. Get used to it.
And it had nothing to do with the fact that I needed to shave my face.
Oh, yeah. Not you. The general populace needs to get used to the fact that it's November.
We hope
But
you
it still
enjoyed
feels like April.
Halloween. As Jeremy pointed out in our last video, we completely forgot to mark the occasion of Halloween because we're idiots.
Released a podcast on Halloween.
On Halloween, and it was
We're
just
never going to get to do that again.
it was horrific.
Oh, well, yeah.
Sorry, Jason, the Weird Warriors fans.
Not too bad.
Right, should we try this again?
Yes.
Right. 3, 2, 1. It's time for serial viewing. Join us on the couch as we watch Wacky Races from the 60s. Hello, Jeremy.
Hi.
Hi. This is our the oldest show we've ever watched, isn't it?
We haven't
Wacky.
done the Flintstones yet.
No, not yet. It's on the list. We watch Wacky Races, episode 7B. Mark the B. Called Traffic Jambalaya. Unfortunately, there aren't many full episodes of Wacky Races on YouTube. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clips, but very few full episodes. So this one I actually found on Dailymotion. So if you'd like to pop over there, I recommend it. Watch the episode. If you've watched one, though, you've probably seen the majority of them.
Send us a message and we'll send you a dodgy link.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put the link in our YouTube videos description. So if you haven't watched the YouTube video, you've now got an excuse to go do so.
I'm sure. What could go wrong with
Wacky Races features 11 different cars racing against each other in various road rallies throughout North America, with all of the drivers hoping to win the title of the world's wackiest racer. This ran on the American network CBS from the 14th of September 1968 to the 4th of January 1969. 17 20-minute episodes were produced, with each episode featuring two 10-minute segments. Had many regular characters with a bunch of people and animals spread amongst the 11 cars. So 7B, it refers to it was originally made as a part of another show,
Right.
and then they were split down. So you'll find episode A and episode B for all of the different ones.
Right.
Had you ever seen this one before? Is this new to you?
I'd never actually watched the show. I'd heard of Wacky Races before. I had heard of a couple of the cast members more so than the actual show itself.
Dastardly and Muttley.
Dastardly and Muttley, Penelope Pitstop.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
I would be. I can't imagine. I mean, it's been around since the 60s. I can't imagine there's many people left who don't know, have never heard of Wacky Races or
Well-
couldn't recognise a character.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't remember what they looked like. I think I'd seen Dastardly and Muttley before, but I wouldn't
Absolutely.
be able to give you their names or anything, or say what show they're from.
So the 11 cars, the 11 races, you've got Dick Dastardly and his dog Muttley, who we've already mentioned. They are the villains of the show. They drive the Mean Machine. They're always the ones trying to nobble the other racers. Well, they all try to nobble each other. You've got the Slag Brothers, Rock and Gravel, in a caveman-themed car, the Bouldermobile, who look a lot like Thing from Cousin It from the Addams Family or Captain Caveman.
Yes.
The Gruesome Twosome, Tiny and Bella, who are monsters in the Creepy Coop, who look like the Addams Family-ish, kind of. Professor Pat Pending, the inventor in the converter car, which can turn into just about anything that moves. The Red Max, a Red Baron-styled aviator who speaks with a German accent in a car-plane hybrid called the Crimson Hay Baler. I don't know why it's called the Hay Baler.
Why would you want a car plane hybrid in a race?
It can't fly. It does say that it can't fly very far. Is Hay Baler an old word for an aircraft or something? I don't get that one.
Well, it might be referring to like crop dusters.
Could be.
Crop duster.
Penelope Pitstop, the lone female in a 1930s racing outfit in the Compact Pussycat. It's the 60s. It's a different time.
Every time I hear that.
Penelope is more concerned with her looks than with racing and often gets herself into trouble. Of course she does.
Who says that?
That's her official tagline.
She won.
Sergeant Blast and Private Meekley in a car tank hybrid called the Army Surplus Special.
Henry, you're a tiny bit of a military buff.
I am.
Was the patch he was wearing actually a sergeant's patch?
Yes, it was American. It was an American. Oh, I'm going to get it wrong now.
Because I looked it up.
It was a staff sergeant. I can't remember how many stripes he had because he had 3 going up, which is American sergeant. But I think he had a couple. Did he have 1 or 2 underneath?
No, I think it was just 3 going up.
Oh, it's just 3. No, if it's just 3 going up, he's just a buck sergeant. He's nothing
I
special.
think so, yeah. Was made in America, so it makes sense.
Yeah. The Ant Hill Mob, a group of gangsters led by Clyde in the Bulletproof Bomb, who we didn't see much of in this episode.
Oh, I don't remember them.
Lazy Luke and Blubber Bear in the Arkansas Chuggabug, a couple of rednecks.
Arkansas child.
He's the one that drives with his feet, which it kind of grosses me out, and I don't know why.
Did it look like to you that he was driving a moonshine wagon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It was actually-
absolutely yeah. Peter Perfect in the Turbo Terrific. Yeah. And then Rufus Roughcut and his companion Sawtooth, who's a beaver, in the Buzzwagon. So he's a lumberjack in his that doesn't have wheels on his car. He's got 4 circular saw blades, which just seems dangerous.
Oh, because every time they were using the saw blades, it confused me because I couldn't see them. So like, oh, there actually is wheels. Okay.
Yep. So those are your wacky racers. Just to clear it up, this was originally pitched as an idea for a live action game show, where you'd have a live contestants and they would watch the wacky races, 2 per episode, and they would bet on the outcome or that kind of thing, which I think is a fantastic idea, and I would watch if they made that now. I would watch it probably.
I've never heard of anything like that.
No,
That's
back in the 60s, that would have been game changing. Mixing cartoons and live action with an audience as well. If they did that today, but had, I don't know, some really chaotic guests on there with just let them do whatever they want, lots of shouting, that'd be brilliant. I'd absolutely watch that.
yeah. Well, I mean, it does strike me as very mid 20th century America. Very much like gambling.
Yeah.
Betting on a cartoon.
Yeah, but it's just
like
a game show. It doesn't.
like,
Gambling doesn't
bet on
count.
Who the murderer is.
Gambling doesn't count on game shows. Everyone knows that.
Sure.
So that never got picked up. It was pitched as a joint production between Hanna-Barbera Productions, who are the cartoon company, and a company called Heater Quigley Productions, who were known for producing Hollywood Squares. Have you heard of Hollywood Squares?
Very, very small.
It's never been in the UK. I was in the States for a while, so I remember watching over there. But it's referenced in a lot of American comedy movies.
Was it a game show?
It was a game show. Yeah, you had.
Okay, I think I know what it is.
I think it was you had 9 celebrities in like these squares, and they were sat up each other, and then you'd have to ask them questions, and I don't know.
I've only heard it referenced.
It never got picked up. No, I don't know why, which is a shame because I think it would have been brilliant.
Well, I understand why.
Do you not think people would have gone for it, or do you think it would have just been too complex?
You're making like however many people sit down in front of a screen and watch a cartoon.
Yeah, but I'm sure they wouldn't have just shown a block of 10 minutes. They would have stopped and started it, and they would have had other little things to do in the middle. I think it would have been brilliant.
Maybe.
You're...
I mean, I would watch it now if it was on.
I would totally watch it on now.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
There wasn't much of an opening theme tune because it was hidden behind a voiceover, which I think was a legacy of the show. I think they would have played that bit at the beginning of the thing just to remind everyone what's going on.
Oh, the game show.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, because it's just a voiceover for a minute as he speaks really fast, and here comes Dick Dastardly in the Mean Machine, blah blah blah. As the voiceover writer, he names every one of the racers, and he explains where they're racing from like Pork Bend, Utah to Lickety Split, Arkansas, or whatever it was. So, but saying that, what did you think of the opening credits?
Actually, the theme itself, I'm not sure if I've heard it before. I mean, it's a very, like, speaking musically, it's a very simple theme. It's very, very indicative of 60s, and it's a common chord progression that's very similar to a lot of things that came out about that time. People still write like it now.
Yeah.
But it sounds familiar, and it's still cool. Like it still fits the show very well, I think.
It fits what's happening, yeah, but I couldn't pick it out of a lineup.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I reckon there are people who could.
Yeah.
Who watched it a lot.
The overall styling of the credits, the fonts, the colours, very 60s, and I was all in for that. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. It looked good.
Yeah, it was pretty clean as well, and I think well executed. But it was long.
It was.
It was like we watched 10 minutes of a cartoon, and at least a minute of that was the intro, and then it's not even taking into account the outro time.
Yeah, it
So it's
was.
just
They I don't. Yeah, I don't. Did they need that intro every single time? Were they expecting people to drop into the episodes randomly? I suppose they had to take that risk, didn't they?
increasing runtime.
Yeah. So I liked the characters. Generally, they're all. I mean, they're stereotypes, but they're funny stereotypes, especially for the '60s. I didn't like one of them.
One in particular,
And one in particular I did not like. Any
or
guesses who?
like a racing team or a specific person.
A specific person.
Um, Lots of them are annoying, but I think the biggest like red light, red flag, would have been probably Penelope.
Bingo. Penelope Pitstop. She who has set back feminism 20 years because she's just a poor helpless belle. She had a makeup machine. She had a button in her machine to do her lipstick and her hair and stuff. And it was just...
She's,
It just felt wrong. I don't know why. I was vaguely offended.
it did a little bit, but you know, we've spoken about stereotypes before.
Yes.
For kids. And they were all, apart from possibly Peter Perfect, but it kind of makes sense because he's like, oh, I'm amazing, and then screws everything up he does.
Yep.
It's just poetic justice. But like everybody else as well, they seem very stereotypical of what they are. So she's like got a southern drawl, so she's more like, I don't know, she seems like less stereotypical, more just like offensively stereotypical against women.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have been offended, but I was vaguely. I don't know why. It's not something I would normally notice. I think I'm starting to watch these with a more critical eye. If I'd have just been watching that for my pleasure, it would have just gone straight over me. But
Well,
yeah,
apart from a couple scenes.
I mean, and she won. She won the race, so she's obviously a good driver. But the fact she goes ploughing through some mud and then has to stop and wash her wheels. And it's not so much that the fact she had to wash her wheels, the fact that she took them all off, scrubbed them, and then hung them up on the washing line to drip dry.
And then Peter Perfect said it was very feminine of her.
Yes. I did write that Peter Perfect is a perfect prick in my notes.
Peter Perfect picked a prick.
So, Dastardly and Muttley, did you recognise them? Because they've kind of they're in the zeitgeist. They're in the cultural consciousness. Yeah.
I think they're very much I mean, if you like I say, if you showed me them outside of context of Wacky Race and said which show they're from, I wouldn't be able to guess.
Right.
If you'd have said this is Dastardly and Muttley, and I was like, oh, that's them. Ah, yeah, that definitely is them. I know. And they're very. I think they're probably the most iconic characters out of the show.
I know Penelope Pitstop. She got her own show, and I think Peter Perfect did as well.
He's a prick.
Yeah, but he's a prick.
Penelope Pitstop got her own show.
Yes. I can't remember what it was called now. I did write it down. That's it. Penelope Pitstop and the Anthill Mob. They were both spun off into another cartoon series in 1969, so towards the end of the year that this was shown, and it was called The Perils of Penelope Pitstop. Huh. Dick Dastardly and Muttley were given a spin-off series called Dastardly and Muttley and Their Flying Machines. But that was called, also known as Stop the Pigeon, after the show's theme title, but they only lasted for a season each, so they didn't do great. But Stop the Pigeon, I remember the Stop the Pigeon theme tune. Stop the pigeon, stop the pigeon. I don't know why they were chasing a pigeon, but so yes, they got their own show, so it was successful.
To a certain degree, did it only get shown for 1969?
Yeah, 68 to 69.
Wow. I mean,
well, they only had they did 17 20-minute episodes, so 34 episodes in total, and they're only 10 minutes long. So,
They only really did that long, and it had had a fair amount of impact then,
Yeah, yeah. Like it's
for what it was.
well, Hanna Barbera they were huge in the cartoon industry, and they still are. Although I mean, this is our first Hanna Barbera cartoon, and I'm sure we're going to end up with some others.
So like Scooby Doo,
Captain Caveman, I think,
Flintstones.
was Hanna Barbera.
Definitely Flintstones then, right?
Yeah, I think the Flintstones were. I should know that. But if you've watched one, there isn't really a plot to them, so we can't really comment on the plot because it's a race.
It is a race.
Yeah, it's a race. They're trying to get from this point to that point. Dastardly is doing dastardly things to stop them. So in this one, he tried to put down barricades, which the converter car, which I think is bullshit and cheating, because it can literally do. If you want wheels, it's got wheels. You need skis, it's got skis. It can jump, it can run, it can slither. You name it. How does that car not win every time? Yeah. So yeah, that gets some steeplechase legs, some horses' legs, and it jumps over them, and then the sawtooth just drives through them. And then he comes up with a plan to. What he puts out a fake radio call that a gorilla, a rare, friendly, harmless purple gorilla, has escaped, and there's a big reward, and if you can capture it, you'll get it. But then he releases a bear. He dresses up in a purple gorilla outfit. It's a really weak idea. But
the thing is, though, he was doing it so they'd get distracted from the race.
Yep.
But in so doing,
he was not driving.
The race.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be driving anywhere. And Muttley, it's not like Muttley can drive.
Muttley. Oh, I need to talk about Muttley. The first time he laughed, I thought, oh, yep, there's the laugh. Iconic. Brilliant. Love it. And then by the end of it, I really wanted him to shut the hell up because it was annoying. Him going constantly just made me want to cough and clear my throat.
I liked it. I like the fact that he didn't take his owner seriously as well.
Oh, yeah, he's not.
Wallace and Gromit style.
They're not friends. He never wins. Dastardly never wins, and I think they should have let him win at least once.
Slightly tragic, because I don't think he's that evil.
He just wants to win.
Yeah,
he's just a bit of a cheat.
And, yeah.
Although you could argue that a lot of what he does is attempted murder.
You could argue though that a lot of what he does isn't cheating because the others are perfectly capable of getting past them. He's just making the race more interesting.
That's true.
He's the MVP.
So yeah, actually, going back to look at this in its original format. In that people were going to be betting on it. Nobody would ever bet on Dastardly because he's never going to win. He's never won. And I think if they'd have snuck in a win, it would really upset the apple cart. And then looking at that format, if you were watching this to bet on, would you have picked Penelope?
I reckon most people probably. If they had a, is this after having seen it?
Yeah. Was there enough information given for you to reason? I mean, there's an element of chance. It's not supposed to be like this is obvious going to win, but was there enough info there for you to draw a conclusion and go, or were you just sticking a pin in a board and going that one?
I mean, at this point, I hadn't seen the first part of the race, but I would have said I would have seen. I would have liked the Buzzsaw guys. I would have thought they would win, personally.
I don't know.
Or perhaps the scientist guy.
So, if you go onto Wikipedia, there is a full table of how many times everyone won, what position. Somebody's actually watched enough of these to know who won, what position, where everyone placed in each episode.
Is that even disclosed in some of them?
I think there's some guessing going on. So, the Anthill Mob, the gangsters, Penelope Pitstop, Lazy Luke and Blubber Bear, the rednecks, and Peter Perfect, they all share the top number of wins at 4 each.
That seems like it's on purpose.
Yeah, that does seem a bit too neatly wrapped up. And like I said, Dick Dastardly.
Peter Perfect ever win? He'll
because
just say, "Yes, I'm at the finish," and then his car will just explode.
he's perfect, obviously. Yeah. This was remade in 2017 by the Boomerang Network with more
mean-
modern, cute styling.
Boomerang's all right, but why? Just watch the original.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose. I mean, I'll put pictures of the new version. I'll put some comparison pictures up on our Instagram account at Serial Viewing. But yeah, just watch the original. It didn't really need to be remade. The new ones are. It's definitely. Well, to be honest, they look like late 2000s rather than 2017. But they were fun.
Well, the animation isn't bad in the original one.
No, not at all. In fact, it holds up really well.
Yeah, I think so.
Considering
you've
this
got
was made in the
grain
late
filter going
60s. The only thing, you've had the scrolling background, so just to reuse backgrounds as the cars are driving along, which is something I noticed when I was really young, and I had a tendency to watch for it in all cartoons when they just repeat a little bit. And I get it. I don't have a problem with it. And I would expect that from the 60s, but generally, the animation's brilliant.
Yeah, it's really smooth. There was no rough characters or anything left.
Strange little black lines just appearing in like on the
Yeah.
where someone's like shed a hair onto the contact sheets as they're drawing. The only thing that I think
like any of the characters looking at the screen with a weird face, like
when they turn to face the
Hardcore.
screen and then suddenly their facial dimensions are all like. "Rrrr."
yeah, there they stretch out.
The only thing I think proper did show its age was they did a few top-down bits where they're looking at like a helicopter camera or something, and you've got little ant-like maggot cars driving around. That showed its age a little bit, but I get why they did it.
Yes.
It was funny. Sorry, I wouldn't say it's funny, but it's fun.
They're little tic tacs. I guess it's a way of showing more than one car on the screen at once. But they look like tic tacs driving around.
Yeah,
The least they could have done would color them.
maybe with some little, slightly more than just little dots. But this was the mid-60s. That was. It was
Yeah,
what it
I
was.
mean, it wasn't bad, and it was cool because then you could do all sorts of like really fast zooming animation.
So, 2017 they rebooted it for Boomerang. In 2006, a spin-off series titled Wacky Races Forever was made for Cartoon Network, and it had new races as well as some returning old ones. And in this one, Penelope Pitstop and Peter Perfect, say that when you're drunk, have got married and created Perfect Industries.
Cool.
And their children, Parker and Piper, are racing in the Wacky Races. And then Darsley and Muttley are now working for a new bad guy trying to steal Perfect Industries or something like that. So the full pilot was made, it was pitched, and it was just never picked up by Cartoon Network. So someone thought it was a great idea, and then someone at Cartoon Network said, "We don't need this, thanks."
So it went from a guy and his dog trying to pull pranks in a friendly competition between some people to a weird guy being employed to basically cause harm to some kids.
He was trying to steal Perfect. I don't
Subterfuge.
quite understand how he was going to steal Perfect Industries during a race, but it's a cartoon.
Yeah, and without Peter Perfect or Penelope Pitstop there.
Yeah. I think they were in the episodes, they just weren't racing, which makes this a bit redundant. Why would you not have them racing? In true
Bad I did. They should feel bad.
in true 2000 style, Professor Pat Pending, who in the 60s version was just presented as a scientist, normal guy, whereas in this version, as I said, true to 2000 stylings, he would be a mad scientist with crazy hair and cackling and the whole deal. That was very popular in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, I guess.
I found this really interesting, and I really want to go look it up. In 2016, DC Comics launched a series called Wacky Raceland, which is a gritty reimagining of the series set after the apocalypse.
Okay.
Taking cues from Mad Max. The comic ran for 6 issues from May to December 2016. I want to read that. That
Fair
sounds
enough.
interesting.
That sounds pretty cool. I wonder what it's like.
I want to see
Whoever read it, let us know.
Dick. Yes, Dick. I want Dick Dastardly. I want to see Dick Dastardly as Mad Max with Muttley as his dog.
Driving the Interceptor.
Some of the characters have made appearances in other movies. I say some. It's Dick Dastardly and Muttley. Let's be honest.
Really?
They appeared in the 2020 movie Scoob.
Oh, did they?
Yep, they were in that one. They've also appeared in a number of car adverts. Initially shown in places like France and Belgium. They didn't. Not a massive spread, but they've done that.
I can see that.
It was translated into about 20 different languages. It was really widely syndicated. Some of my favorite. So in Serbia, it was known as
Serbia.
In Serbia, it was known as Strange Racing. In
Right.
Poland, it was called Cool Races. In the Netherlands, it was called Wild Bumpy Loser Rally, which sounds
Wild Bumpy Loser Rally.
Wild Bumpy Loser Rally, which sounds a lot better in Dutch. And I apologise for my pronunciation again, but it's basically Hotsy Knots and Newsen Rally. Hotsy Notty Newsen Rally. And in Japan, it is called Chicky Chicky Racing Machines.
Of course it is.
Which is amazing. The racing cars all have license plates, and they were all the letters HB and the number of their car. For example, Dick Dastardly's was HB00, the HB standing for Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. In 1988, a made-for-TV movie around the world with wacky racers. I'm beginning to fall over that one now. Was planned as part of Hanna-Barbera's Superstars 10 series of TV movies, but it never got past the concept stage. Which is unusual, because if this, it has got a long-lasting cultural legacy. People still know about wacky races 40, 50 years after it was aired initially. And it seems it's almost like that they kept trying to reboot it, to get it back out there, and no one was really interested.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't do as well as something like Flintstones or Scooby-Doo, I feel. And there was it didn't go on for that long.
Well, it was cancelled.
Right.
It was cancelled. It never finished its run. It was apparently one of several cartoons that were cancelled during the late 60s and early 70s due to parental protests about excessive violence in children's programming. Now, I've got no proof of that. I found that bit of trivia. I think it was on IMDb. I mean, it sounds reasonable, but I've got no. I mean, would you have a problem with the violence in? I mean, no violence is done directly from one character or another. They're just kind of put in situations where I suppose someone could get hurt.
Yeah, possibly, but like most of the time, it was Dastardly just grew it up and then him getting wrapped up.
Yeah.
In the zone.
Yeah.
All the cars breaking. That's it. No one ever got hurt.
So, talking about cultural appeal, in 2019, Wacky Races, the board game, was released.
Right.
It puts players in the driver's seat with control of their favourite drivers from the series, and they compete against each other and a game-controlled Dick Dastardly and Muttley. Now, I had a look at this on Board Game Geek, and it looks like someone put some effort and thought into it. The models, the miniatures that come with the game are pretty cool. It's fairly well rated. It looks like a decent game.
You say 2019.
2019.
So, Wacky Races was someone's childhood. And their
Yes.
lifelong goal was to create a game.
Yeah, so that's
based
someone
on
about
it.
my age,
Yeah.
mid 40s, who wanted to get onto this board game boom. Yeah, so it's a straight up
Wacky Races.
combat racing game, I suppose you could describe it. But it looks pretty
Dark
good.
Future.
It looks pretty good. I always like to talk about video games because that's a good indication of how popular a show is. It's how many games there are for it. And this one has had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games made for it,
Oh, wow.
which I find unusual because I've never heard of these. I've never heard of these. I've never seen them.
But also, the show was, I mean, I guess reruns, probably, a lot.
It was syndicated heavily after it was cancelled.
How many years after was the first home gaming console really readily available? 30 years after, at least?
Yeah. Well, the first game cropped up in 1991. So again, someone who had watched it or remembered it from their childhood decided, oh, we can make a game out of that. And that was on so 91 Wacky Races came out on the NES. And then in 2000, you got 2 games. Wacky Races, which came out on the PC, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, and the Game Boy Color. And then Wacky Races starring Dastardly and Muttley, which came out on the Dreamcast and the PS2. In 2007, Wacky Races Mad Motors came out for the PlayStation 2. Now, I was a huge PlayStation. I owned a PlayStation in 2007.
Well, yeah.
And I don't remember.
As did most of us.
I don't remember ever seeing anything like that. And then in 2008, Wacky Races Crash and Dash came out on the Nintendo DS and the Wii. In 1993, there was an arcade game, so a full-on arcade cabinet was released in Japan.
Cool.
And then 2009, another game, pretty much the same thing, same name, was released as an arcade cabinet internationally. So
they got busy.
Yeah, it was obviously popular enough people remembered it to keep doing it. And to be honest, I'd probably play it if it wasn't too. If the game wasn't pitched to a too young an audience. So if it was fun and not
something
just
like Mario Kart.
Yeah, something like Mario Kart, I'd be in on that. That'd be fun.
To be fair, it probably was a lot like that.
Yeah.
Or at least some of them were.
But I'm not sure 11 teams would be enough. It'd be okay to launch with, but I would expect more to be added.
I mean, you would nowadays, but think
That's
about
true.
the original
That's
64,
that's true.
64 or the SNES Super Mario Kart. They had you could choose 11 people and they all did exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
At least there'd be a bit of difference.
So bearing in mind we didn't really get the episode we watched didn't really feature all of the races. I think we noticed that the Anthill Mob they were in the opening credits and that's about it. So with that in mind, who was your favourite racer? Who would you cheer for?
I did like the lumberjack guys, the buzzsaw.
Oh, with the health hazard, with the health hazard on their wheels because they had buzzsaws instead of tires.
Yeah, I mean that just makes sense to me.
Oh yeah, obviously.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna get throwing wooden things at you by Dastardly, it's best to arm yourself, you know. I would also vote for the monster guys. They were pretty cool. They had a dragon.
They did have a dragon hiding in the bell tower. Yeah,
out.
that was cool. I'd forgotten about that.
Pretty good. If I had to vote on someone to win, I would have said the hay baler that plane. That seems to be going for the pretty high contender.
Yeah, I still think.
Voting.
if I had to vote, if I was bidding on it, if I was betting on it, I would have probably gone for the converter car because
Or
it
that one,
can
yeah.
do anything you want. I mean, I know it would never win just because of that, because they have to keep it even. But yeah, it would have been that one. But I think my favourite one was the army guys whose names I've completely forgotten.
Sergeant McGroin.
Sergeant Blast and Private Meekley
That's it.
in the Army Surplus Special.
But I think my favorite guys, I think, are still Dusty and Muttley.
Yeah,
I did like them. And to be fair, they made the race more interesting. Otherwise, it would just have been a race.
did you have a favourite line from the show?
Favorite line? There was one. I wrote it. I don't think I wrote it down. Did you?
Yes, I did, and I back in the 60s, this wouldn't have meant anything. But someone shouts at one point, "I'd like to talk to you, slags," as in the
yeah.
Slag Brothers, and it just made me.
The monsters when
He said
when they crash
slags.
into the car. Mhm.
I know,
I did like that one.
that did make me laugh.
That was pretty good.
And there was a bit I noticed it genuinely made me laugh because I saw it happen and I had to go back a bit. I think it's the sergeant. He's shouting at the bear because Dastardly releases this bear out to get them as one of his plans. And as the sergeant's shouting, he kind of like sticks his hand up with a finger, and he actually puts his finger up the bear's nose. Which wasn't what made me laugh. What made me laugh is that he put his finger so far up his nose, you could see his finger, like making a dent inside the bear's nose.
Oh.
That just made me laugh. That just tickled me. So
I don't remember that.
to continue a tradition,
Mhm.
not a fight this week, but if the Wacky Races lot had to race Jason the Wheeled Warriors,
Ooh.
who is your money on?
Well, I'd like to see Dastardly pull pranks on Jason the
Yes.
Wheeled Warriors. Like putting the bounce road out behind him and then flying up in there, putting oil on them. Even that would be brilliant. But probably the Wacky Races because they actually got to the destination. And they didn't turn
Ooh,
into
that's
playing
harsh.
cards. You know,
They
didn't turn into playing cards.
I think the Wacky Races would win as well because Jace, he's too nice. They're too nice. They're honourable. They're lawful good people. So they'd be racing and they'd be racing properly, and then the Wacky Racers would be flying or turning into jet skis and then leaving oil trails and nobbling each other generally.
Also, I'm fairly certain the Wacky Racers drove from Louisiana to Alabama in 10 minutes.
Yeah, beat that in your crappy armed force car.
Exactly. Also, continuing on a theme, mustache count.
Oh, I forgot to count Mustache.
We had Dastardly. He had a mustache.
That's what he had a good one as well.
And I don't know if anybody else had a mustache. Perhaps some of the. I didn't see if any of the rednecks had mustaches. I don't think anybody else did.
I don't think I.
Professor, did he have a... Oh no, the red one, the plane, the hay baler.
Oh
He
yeah,
had a mustache.
the Red Baron.
I think he's the hay baler.
Yes, he had a mustache. Did the sergeant have one?
Yeah, he has like an aviator mustache, right?
Ah, so you don't know if the Slag Brothers have got mustaches because they're all just hairy.
So we can't count that.
So you can't count that one. I think that's it. I'm just looking at some. I had to go look at pictures, and I think that is it for Tashes. But that still makes it our highest Tash count.
2. It's pretty good.
I'm going to put some in.
Yeah, we couldn't check the angry mob. The ant mob.
No, I can't. Can't even find any pictures of them. I have found some pictures of the reboot,
Oof.
which don't look that bad, actually.
The 2017 one.
Yeah. I'm going to put some pictures up onto our social media because I don't know when this started, but have you heard of the Goodwood Festival of Speed here in the
I mean, I
UK?
know of speed festivals. I may have seen something like
It's a big one basically.
that.
Somebody made, or somebody has made, a full set of life-size working replicas of all of the vehicles, which show up there every year. Now, I've seen the pictures,
Fantastic.
and they are spot on. They are really good.
I'm gonna look them up now.
So I'm going to put those onto the social media feed because you all deserve to see those. I'll put all of them on there, everyone I can find. But yeah, every single one is up there.
This is fantastic. Where is this?
I have a look on their Wikipedia page for Wacky Races. It's down the bottom. That's not where I found it, but I know there are pictures on there. So would you, whilst you're looking those up, would you recommend this show? Does it
100%.
get the seal of approval?
Oh yeah, it's 10 minutes long, easy enough to follow.
Right.
There's narrator doing everything. There's plenty of entertainment throughout it, and there's excitement in it.
It is.
Enjoyment.
Yes. Yeah. I'll give it that.
Apart
There's.
from the slight bit of sexism.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. I'd recommend it.
So you recommend it?
100%.
To be honest, me too. As you said, it's short, it's quick, it's exciting. I think the narrator actually adds quite a lot to it. As usually, I'm not a big fan of voiceovers, but I think it adds a lot, and it fits with the show.
It's indicative of the style. It's,
yes.
Yeah, it's a race narrator.
Absolutely.
Commentator. That's the one.
Did you find the pictures?
Yeah, they are pretty awesome.
They're cool, aren't they?
I don't remember Penelope's having lips on it, but...
Yes.
Oh, someone made the scientist one.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Oh, they raced them. Yes.
Yeah. They're fully working.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
ones.
Check them out. If you go look them up, they're brilliant. Just before we go, just want to... What do you think of the end credits? Do you remember the end credits?
I did, and they were still racing then, and I think Dastly pulled a prank on them, and in the end, flattened him, didn't it?
Yep. I think the music on the end credits were a bit funkier. Still very 60s, but it was
I thought it was the same, wasn't it?
little bit. No, well, I don't know. I don't think so, but it was funky, and I liked it.
Oh. Cool.
So,
I mean, like, I'm glad that they made something different.
well, yeah. So, we rate every show. We rate it individually and then average them out to give the serial viewing rating for the show. So, what do you reckon for Wacky Races?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I watched it twice out of choice.
Yeah, me too, actually. I did as well.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't write anything down the first time I watched it, but I was more than happy to watch it again. And it was 18 minutes. 10 minutes. It seemed relatively...
It's an easy watch, isn't it?
Easy to watch, yeah. I think that's probably what I was going for. I would give it pretty high. I give it 8 out of 10 Muttley Wheezers.
8?
Yes.
I wasn't expecting that.
I quite enjoyed it. I thought about 7, but that just seemed too low.
I did enjoy it. But I didn't enjoy it a lot. That's a really terrible way to put it. I did give it a 7.
Okay.
So between your...
Okay. I respect the 7.
Yeah, so between your 8 and my 7, that gives it a 7.5, which is actually quite high. I'm going to put a... because we are on episode 9. This is episode 9 of Serial Viewing. So I'm going to start putting up a little league table of the top 5... Top 10? Top 5. I'm going to put a league table of where everyone's sitting episodes up on the website.
A Wacky Races scoreboard.
Yeah, I might do podiums and the whole shebang. So 7.5 is the overall rating. We enjoyed it.
Indeed.
Um,
Indeed. Very much so.
Next week, do you know what we're watching next week?
Not at all.
No, to be honest, we have a list, and I'm sure we've told you this before. We have a list, and I had forgotten until 30 seconds
have a
before the
list.
show started.
I find out most of the time right now.
Next week or next time, we are watching the British classic that is Fireman Sam.
We're watching Fireman Sam.
Fireman Sam.
This was my childhood. I mean, it was going for ages.
Oh,
but yeah.
It was going when I was young. Fireman Sam has been
Yeah.
around for a long time.
Full on stop motion puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to watch that before you listen to the show, go look it up on YouTube or even Dailymotion, where we found this one. Find an episode and watch it.
I will struggle to not be biased in that episode. I feel a little bit.
Yeah, we don't allow bias on this show. Nightmare
Too
was
much
completely
Nightmare.
impartial. It just has to be the greatest show ever made.
And Trapdoor as well.
Yeah, and Trapdoor as well. Yeah, so please join us. Thank you very much for joining us this time. Please come and see us in 2 weeks when we release the Fireman Sam. Please don't forget, we are on Instagram. Post up there several times a week. You can contact us through there. We have our own website, serialviewing.com, where you can send us a message. You can look at our show notes. Our show notes go up there every other week. Links to the playing cards that we create. You can leave us a voicemail. There's all kinds of good stuff on there. Go check it out.
Yes.
We will see you next time. Thank you very much for listening. Bye, Jeremy.
Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
And we're good.
Forgot to mention that theme song is. I mean, I can't hear it, but I know it, so I did remember it. It's just Batman.
Oh my god, it is!
And it's the same progression.
Hang on, I'm just going to play it again a little bit. It really is, isn't it?
It's the same progression. And when I was talking about the progressions, I should have mentioned that it is that 60s thing. It's a speed thing.
Oh, that's cool.
I feel like if you switched them, they probably fit a bit better.
If you switch them, I bet
Wacky Races one.
only super nerds would notice.
Batman.
Well, I genuinely enjoyed that. That was quite. I enjoyed
Yeah.
Wacky
You
Races.
rated it a 7.
Yeah. An 8. You rated it an 8.
You rated it.
I gave it a 7. Yeah.
but- yeah.
Forgot already. I did not know about the game show idea,
Yeah. Neither did I.
and I'm gutted that never happened. Somebody somewhere, please do this. I want to watch
Once again,
that.
Someone had a great idea for a kids' TV show and never went through with it.
Yeah. It's a great idea for an adult TV show. See, seriously, that made. I know I say this a lot, but this show, in a game show format with drunk celebrities as the people playing it, total chaos. It'll be brilliant. So,
Like the idea of celebrities doing
not much of an after show. Don't really have a great deal to talk about.
cards.
Well, yeah, I did like the cars. Fireman Sam.
Cards. Cards.
Cards. Oh, the cards. Yeah, we'll do that in a minute.
Yeah. Fireman Sam.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. When we watch it, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be impartial. I'm gonna clear my mind, and I'm just gonna watch it as if I've never seen it before. Because I used to hate Fireman Sam.
I was gonna say, it casts your mind back to when you were young. How often did you watch it? How much was it on the telly?
It was on the telly all the time, and I used to watch it all the time because there was nothing else to watch.
Yeah.
We had 3 channels.
To be fair, I grew up not having a great deal to watch when I was really young, and when this sort of time was appealing to me, and so yeah, I mean, I've watched Fireman Sam, and I did enjoy Fireman Sam. I have gone back and seen the more modern, updated version, and that is utter tripe.
Total
That's
cringe.
horrible. Yes, very cringy.
Well, we're going to watch original Fireman Sam.
Yes,
No remakes.
good. But that will be quite old as well. I mean, I don't even know when that started.
80s.
Was it?
Yep.
It was even older.
I think. Yeah, it must have been
Postman
80s because
Pat
I was watching it when I was young.
for ages as well.
I think Postman Pat is older.
I swear he was from the 60s.
I don't think he's that old. 70s maybe, early 80s.
Yes.
Anyway, back of the box card,
Yes.
where we make playing cards and put them on our website on the back of the box segment that look an awfully lot like a certain other brand of playing cards that have a name similar to what could possibly be the ex-president of the United States once the count's finished.
He's hoping.
We rate four categories. It's the same categories each time. The theme music, the opening credits, rate them.
I mean, like you said, it was very basic. I quite liked it. I bet if someone, you played it, they would get it what it is.
I don't know.
Context,
I'm not convinced.
But I think it could easily be mistaken for Batman.
Yeah.
So I'll give it it's out of 50, right?
An out of 50, and then I'll add them together.
25.
25.
Down the middle.
That's
Yep.
fair enough. I gave
Not
it a
bad.
20
It does the job.
because it's
Eh.
good. It's fun, like you say, it's functional, but it's not really inspiring.
It's a very utilitarian approach.
Yes. So that gives it a total of 45 for theme, which isn't bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
No.
Now, this is usually the lowest scoring category. Educational. Did you learn anything?
I gave it a 0 last time for Jace because that was trying to sell me something.
Yeah.
This time, I don't feel like it's quite that bad, but again, it's not very educational
No.
in the slightest. It is purely made for entertainment purposes, which I massively appreciate, more so than Jace. I think I will rate that at a 10.
I gave it
Probably
that's
higher.
the reason why I gave it a 5 because I didn't want
Yeah,
to give
I
it a
was thinking
0
that,
because
but-
it wasn't as bad as Jace, but I didn't learn anything.
No.
So a 15. Weirdness.
There wasn't too much weirdness in
See-
it. I mean, it was wacky. not
It was wacky, yeah. I gave it a 6 because there was nothing in there that made me go, ugh, which is kind of when we're talking about weirdness, we're looking for stuff that's going to make us go, what the did I just watch?
That's like when we originally, before serial viewing, we thought about old style cartoons, like something like, I don't know, the concept of samurai pizza cat is weirdness to me.
I can't wait to watch that.
So I'll give it as a weirdness. I'll give it a 10 again. So it's the same as educational.
60. I gave it. Well, it's got one more. I gave it a 6
Oh,
for
one
it
more.
because it's
That's too
wacky.
much.
It got extra points for being wacky, but it's not weird.
Yeah.
Now, this could be interesting. Bearing in mind its cultural appeal, how did you rate it for impact?
So it's not as high of an impact as something like Flintstones or Scooby-Doo or anything of the such, but it definitely has a high impact. Like, it's from the 60s, and I don't know, it's just, I can hear people mentioning it and talking about that, especially Dastardly and Muttley and Penelope
Yes.
Pitstop. The characters more so than the actual show. So I'll give it a 40.
40.
Yes.
We're doing that thing again where we're kind of in sync again.
Did you say
Because
40 as well?
I gave it 36
That's okay.
because I enjoyed it.
Mm.
I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have sought it out to watch, but I enjoyed watching it. And like you said, it has Darsley and Muttley. I know who they are. I could pick them out. Just the laugh, Darsley and Muttley's laugh, and I'm like, yep, that's Darsley and Muttley. So that
Yeah.
gives it a total of 76, which I think is.
It's not our highest.
It's not a highest, but I think that's accurate. In
Yeah.
that it's been around for a long time. It's all pervading. It is. People will recognise it, but no one really says, "Oh, it's like my favourite thing ever."
Yeah. It's not
Unless
like
it is your favourite thing
Scooby-Doo.
ever, and I apologise.
Like Scooby-Doo, for me, impact-wise, gets a massive 50.
Yeah, because it's. I think I'm going to struggle
if you
to
say
not.
Scooby-Doo, someone exactly knows what Scooby-Doo is. It's influenced so many other shows and movies it's had and toys and everything.
Yeah. So there you go.
Same as Flintstones, in my opinion.
No real surprises there.
I mean, no, not really. I mean, we rate them based as accurately as we can be because we're trying to make a game. Yes. Where are the Henry's Cat ones?
Henry's cat, yes, yes. We'll discuss that after the show.
What did you do?
There are issues.
Okay. Yeah. What else? I mean,
What else does it say? Fireman Sam, get ready for your stop motion goodness. I think this will be our
he's
first.
gonna save the day.
It's our first stop motion, isn't it?
Whoa.
Oh no, trapdoor. What twat?
And Terrorhawks. Well, Terrorhawks isn't.
Terror? No, that's not. That's
live action.
that's it is. Yeah, technically it's live, but that's Super Macro Nation.
Yes. And then we had live action with what's with Gumridge. I don't think we've done any other stop motion.
No, I think it's.
Not traditional like puppet style. I don't think we've done yet.
Mm. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. We are Serial Viewing. Welcome. I mean, thank you for joining us. Just talking about my arse now. I'm obviously tired.
Just bear with us.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Like, comment, and subscribe, because I can't say that enough.
Nope.
Although we have subscribers, we have people liking us. So thank you to you.
Do we?
We do. All right, guys.
Hardly believe it.
Thank you very much, and we shall see you next time. Bye.